to call this regular meeting of the Raton City Commission to order. Can we have roll call, please, Des?
Sure. Mayor Sagata.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Chatterley.
Present.
Commissioner Schuster.
Present.
Commissioner Giacomo.
Present.
And Commissioner Honeyfield.
Here. Y'all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Couple of announcements. Our next regular commission meeting will be Tuesday, November 26th, here in the chambers. We have a notice of potential quorum of the Raton City Commission at the Raton Public Safety Town Hall, hosted by Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham on Tuesday, November 19th, from 5:30 to 7:30, the Schuler Theater. And at this time, we have our Raton Fire Department promoter, Mr. Estes.
Mayor, Chief Burke, EMS Chief Russell, and Lieutenant Jacob Buck, would you please step forward? Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the reading of orders. The Raton Fire Lieutenant Jacob Butt is hereby promoted to the permanent rank of Captain for the City of Raton, New Mexico, effective 12 July 2024, with the date of rank 12 November 2024. Signed, Richard D. Mestis, City Manager for the City of Raton.
You're welcome.
Just go ahead and count them right in there.
Here we go. Congratulations, Captain.
Thanks, sir.
Captain, would you like to say any words?
No, thank you.
Chief Burke, would you?
Mr. Chair, would you please come up? Would you introduce yourself, state your name and everything?
Hi, Patrick Trail. I volunteered with Colfax County Rapid Response for about 6 years. Thankfully to Nathaniel Sandoval, he brought the academy up to Philmont so we could do our burns. I got certified and joined with Raton Fire to continue my career in firefighting.
You're employed. All righty. Once again, congratulations. All right, item 5, items from citizens present. At this time, we'll hear any concerns from citizens in the audience. However, if it's related to an item on the agenda, please wait until that item comes up. Anyone wishing to address the commission at this time? Seeing none, we'll move right on into action. 6A, deliberate and act on approval of October 22nd regular meeting minutes. All had a chance to go over, I'm sure. If there's no amendments or corrections, the minutes will stand approved as presented.
Looks good.
Everything looks good. Meetings Minutes. Stand approved as presented. Item B, public hearing, deliberate and act on ordinance number 1028 for the de-annexation to the city of Raton, New Mexico of contiguous territory of 376.7 acres located in the vicinity of the I-25-450 interchange. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, on January 23rd, 2024, the City of Raton passed a resolution declaring surplus property and approving a government-to-government transfer of 132.6 acres of land to the Picaros Pueblo. On that date, the City Commission expressed its desire to support this project that is located just east and slightly north of the I-25-450 interchange. On October 8th, a resolution was reintroduced to clarify that the total de-annexation is 376.5 acres, of which 132.6 acres is targeted for the Picaros Pueblo. The Indian Gaming Compact between the state of New Mexico and the Indian tribes and the Pueblos stipulate that any land held in trust by the United States for the exclusive benefit of the tribe cannot be located within the city limits. By the de-annexation of 0.7 acres of contiguous property, this would allow alignment of the above stated 132.6 acres outside of municipal boundaries. I wish to be clear that through our process, the 132.6 acres the city has set aside for government-to-government transfer has never changed, and the remaining 244.1 acres will remain as city property. I also emphasize that the ordinance shall not be in effect until final action is set forth and the filling of said ordinance in the ordinance book as provided by law shall thereafter be accomplished. A copy of the ordinance shall thereafter be filled together with the copy of the plat with the clerk of Colfax County, New Mexico. The city recommends that you act in the affirmative on this ordinance.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mestis. Comments, questions? Entertain a motion.
Do we need to have a public hearing?
Well, this is the public hearing. At this time, we will take any comment. This is part of the public hearing process.
I will make a motion to adopt ordinance number 1028, the de-annexation to the city of Raton, New Mexico of contiguous territory of 376.7 acres located in the vicinity of the I-25-450 interchange.
A motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 1028. Is there any further discussion? Do we have a roll call vote, please? Dennis?
Sure. Mayor Sagata?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chatterley?
Yes.
Commissioner Schuster?
Yes.
Commissioner Giacomo?
Yes.
And Commissioner Honeyfield?
Yes.
Ordinance passes. Thank you. Item C, deliberate and act on event form for Raton Main Street's Festival of Lights on Historic First Street, November 29th, 5:30 p.m. through 7 p.m. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, Raton Main Street's Festival of Lights on Historic First Street will be held on November 29th between the hours of 5:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. The event will be between Rio Grande Avenue and Clark Avenue on Historic First Street. As in previous years, this will be a static display. Inside your packet is a certificate of liability insurance, a map of the routes, an application form signed by the police chief, fire chief, public works director, city clerk, and myself. Just a note to the mayor that the tree lighting also takes place on this evening, and the city recommends that you act in the affirmative on this action.
Any questions, comments?
I do know that Brenda and Chris weren't able to be here, but I know Linda was here if we did have questions tonight. I just want to make sure the tree lighting is at 5:30, it says.
Line says 5:30.
I don't want to
That's what
show up
time
at
will be
5:15 and
5:30.
it's already lit, and I'm so sad.
This time we know it is in writing. It says 5:30. So we will wait till 5:30.
We'll keep you hostage here in City Hall.
It's the little kids that you got to keep hostage. I always recruit me a couple to help out.
Oh.
They want to flip the switch, man.
I will move to approve the event form for the Main Street Festival of Lights on historic First Street, November 29th, 5:30 to 7 p.m.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the event for the 29th. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, deliberate and act on Colfax Ale Cellar LLC public celebration permit for the Schuler Theater on December 6, 2024. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, I have one public celebration permit for the Schuler Theater on December 6, 2024. This event is the venue for a concert featuring Michael Martin Murphy's Cowboy Christmas. Colfax Ale Cellar will sell their manufactured beer as well as New Mexico wine and spirits. Sales will occur primarily before the show and during intermission. As you may be aware, Murphy has 6 gold albums and has recorded the hit singles Wildfire, Caroline in the Pines, What's Forever For, and other hits. Murphy is also the author of New Mexico state ballad, The Land of Enchantment. This event will likely rival the recent Lori Morgan concert at the Schuler in terms of attendance. The city recommends that you approve this permit.
All right, any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the Colfax Ale Cellar LLC public celebration permit for the Schuler Theater on December 6, 2024.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the permit. Is there further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, deliberate and act on municipal emergency services, MES quote for bunker gear and lens kits for Raton Fire and Emergency Services, utilizing fire protection funds and Sourcewell contract number 010424. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, the City of Raton Fire and Emergency Services is requesting the usage of fire protection funds to purchase 5 complete sets of bunker gear and 5 sets of Fur Dex dual cert gear. The department will be utilizing fire funds for this purchase. The cost will be $29,565. Enclosed in your packets are the CES quote from Sourcewell contract number 010424 and a requisition, as well as the review and approval of Fire Department Inspector Josh Duran with the State of New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. The $33,915 amount in your packet was the original estimate for 6 sets of equipment. We're only purchasing 5 for $29,565. The city recommends approval for this purchase.
Questions or comments? Answer my question.
A motion to approve the municipal emergency services quote for bunker gear and lens kits for Raton Fire and Emergency Services, utilizing fire protection funds and Sourcewell contract 010424.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the request for purchase. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, deliberate and act on an agreement between the City of Raton and New Mexico State Library for fiscal year 2025 state grant and aid. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, the 4.5.2 New Mexico Administrative Code governs the State Grants and Aid Program. The State Grants and Aid Program is intended to supplement and encourage local effort in providing local library service. State grants and aid allocations are not intended to be a main source of operating income. The state grants and aid appropriation is part of the New Mexico State Library's annual budget given by the state legislature. State aid grant allocations are likely to vary each year, and estimates of what are eligible the library can expect cannot be provided. It is dependent on the amount of appropriations as well as the number of eligible grant libraries. For example, the Arthur Johnson Memorial Library state aid grant allocation received for FY24 was $10,352.38. This agreement for FY25 is $10,287.08, a decrease of $65.30. The state aid program is intended to supplement and encourage local effort in providing library services. The state aid may be used for library collections, library staff salaries, library staff professional development, library equipment, or other operational expenditures associated with library services. The city recommends approval of this agreement.
Questions or comments?
I will move to approve the agreement between the City of Raton and New Mexico State Library for FY 2025 state aid, state grant and aid agreement.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, deliberate and act on resolution 2024-65, authorizing the certification of the City of Raton's capital asset inventory. This was, if you remember, postponed from our last meeting. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, the 2024 annual inventory was performed by RCI March 12th through 15th, 2024, and all capital assets acquired by the city after the inventory have been added to the fixed asset database. Surplus items and assets that have reached their useful lives have been approved for disposal per city policy, and the city treasurer has updated the database to reflect additions of items classified as land, infrastructure, buildings during the fiscal year. The city recommends that you pass this resolution, and inside you will have the memorandum from the treasurer to the commission, and also a detailed list.
Questions or comments? Michael, any comments?
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. As you know, this is one of my more daunting tasks every year, but I think the snowstorm was actually my saving grace because I was able to hunker down at home, snowed in, and work on fixed assets. So anyway, in your packet, I did prepare a memo as I've done in years past. You'll see in our database with the additions that we did make this year, we now currently have 2,026 inventory items and 657 items classified as land improvements and buildings. So there's a series of reports that I'll prepare, and this is a major component of our annual audit. I usually start with the inventory analysis summary, so that breaks it out by item class for you as to where all of the different assets fall. Anything that's 5,000 and above, we are required to capitalize, and we do prepare extensive depreciation reports for the audit on all of those assets. You'll see the additions. There is attached to your summary a listing of all of the additions. This year, it looks like a lot, but I mean, a lot of it is mainly related to the film school equipment. This was a legislative capital outlay grant that we received, and so we've probably spent a little less than half of the money thus far. So we did need to show some progress on that grant, but at the same time, you know, we're going to have a pretty good fixed asset listing just for that equipment itself. So we'll be working with the film group to establish a really detailed fixed asset inventory just for those items. But once again, there's a lot of items that, you know, if they were 5,000 and above, then we'll have to depreciate those. So as you go through the list, you'll see a lot of different cameras and lenses and spotlights, a lot of kind of like theater type equipment. So all of that's been added to the list. And then as we continue this fiscal year to make additional purchases, when RCI comes out, we'll, some things might not be physically barcoded, but we'll probably have a binder with listings and we can identify them that way as well. And then when they come out annually, we can account for any changes or additions there. We did have some body cameras that were purchased for the police department. Fire had radios. In addition to that, we also have to track real property. So you'll see quite a few additions related to construction. It could be something as simple as fixing a sidewalk, curb and gutter. We did do a lot of that work in the past fiscal year, so a lot of the additions are related to that, or they might be more building specific. So I have added all of those items. Now, if we have any ongoing construction projects that didn't finish up as of June 30, then those are considered construction in progress. And so you wouldn't start depreciating that project until it was complete. So we keep a whole another set of spreadsheets for the auditors on anything that's construction in progress. Disposals, thanks to our Director of Engineering, we did do a fairly large purge this year of e-waste. We've had a lot of stuff just laying around everywhere, printers, computers. We probably should do another one, but you know, it does take a great deal of time to kind of gather all of that up. The nice thing about the company that did take this stuff away, they provided like a certification that the hard drives were destroyed, and so we have a certification of that process as well. So something that the auditors will want to see, and I'll provide to them. You'll also see, let's see, like I said, yeah, the disposal list goes on and on and on, but it's a lot of computers and I know fire department had a few defibrillators and things of that nature. And then we did trade in a fairly large piece of equipment. I remember it was a bulldozer, so that one was at the top of the disposal list. So this is just kind of the same process that we follow every year. We will work here soon with our CI to start scheduling again, generally March or April for a return visit to do the physical inventory. And so we have 3 separate databases. RPS has their own, Water has their own, and the city has their own. So we all track our assets pretty much in the same way, and those entities are required to certify theirs as well.
Questions?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Make a motion to adopt Resolution 2024-65, authorizing the certification of the City of Raton's capital asset inventory.
Motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2024-65. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item H, deliberate and act on Resolution 2024-68, declaring a state of emergency due to snow and inclement weather conditions. Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, a severe winter storm and freezing temperatures began on November 6th, creating major disruption to public infrastructure, safety, and services to the city of Raton. This event caused the closure of Interstate 25 from Romeroville, New Mexico to Pueblo, Colorado, a stretch of over 220 miles for nearly 48 hours. As you know, the city of Raton is located in the middle. We cannot find a comparable event in the history of Interstate 25. The interstate's closure meant that mail, gasoline, grocery, and other goods could not be delivered from Denver, Albuquerque, or Amarillo. The storm resulted in hazardous weather conditions, including heavy snowfall, icy roads, and other dangerous elements that have impacted travel and safety across the city and local emergency responders, including Public Works, Department of Fire, Department of Police, and Water Department, Public Service, and other regional sister public service agencies have been working around the clock to assist stranded motorists clear roads and ensure public safety. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed a declaration of emergency event on November 7th. The The interstate opened on November 9th. The governor's declaration unlocks $1.5 million in state funding to support the coordinated response efforts, including emergency management, road clearing, and public safety operations. The city recognizes that meteorological winter is not here yet, and the potential for continued severe weather will further impact our residents. The city recommends that you pass this declaration.
And just to clarify, this makes funding available to us if it becomes available, like Rick said, so. I would say comparable events, interstate was closed for 3 days during the track fire. Just, we know what the effect of that was.
Yeah, but not for that many miles.
Not that many miles.
I think that's
It
what
was
you
from
mean.
Springer to
Yeah,
the border,
yeah.
yeah. Any other comments, questions?
I will move to approve City of Raton, New Mexico Resolution 2024-68, declaring a state of emergency due to snow and inclement weather conditions.
Second?
A motion and a second to adopt resolution 2024-68. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item I, City Manager Report, Mr. Mestis.
Mayor and Commission, I would like to combine my bottom line upfront statement with my mentioned in dispatches report. The city would like to recognize the public work employees who worked tirelessly throughout the snowstorm to keep our streets passable. Their efforts included split shifts, working around the clock during the heart of the storm. In addition to the efforts on the streets, this crew went above and beyond to plow a path to the airport for Flight for Life crews and even worked this weekend to clear the field to keep the Raton Tiger football playoff game from being canceled or moved out of town. Starting with the leadership of Deputy City Manager and Director of Public Works, Jason Phillips, and the efforts from our two superintendents, Larry Marquez and David Gallegos, along with the respective crews, were unmatched in the history of the city of Raton. Our mechanic, Kevin Garcia, kept up our aging fleet on the road through numerous breakdowns and equipment failures. This total team effort included our Parks Department, Building Department, and Solid Waste Department banding together for the greater good. Our route truck drivers and transfer station staff not only ran their trash routes, but immediately jumped in on snow removal to aid the joint efforts. From our high school co-op program employees to our public works leadership and everyone in between, the effort, planning, and execution is something the city of Raton can be extremely proud of. Their dedication and efforts are appreciated. This was an unprecedented storm that impacted 220 miles into southern Colorado and northern New Mexico. I feel it is important to recognize this team by name, starting with Deputy City Manager and Director of Public Works, Jason Phillips, management employees, Larry Marcus, David Gallegos, Kevin Garcia, Leonard Zamora, Randy Trujillo, Adrian Mendez. Full-time employees, Donald Garcia, Larry Berg, Clayton Wetch, Lance Martinez, Gerardo Tafoya, Michael Martinez, James Halling, Fernando Ortega, Larry Berg Jr., Chris Angeli, and Nick Tarafelli. And high school employees, Clayton Kelly, Wyatt Berry, and Logan Elliott. Their work was commendable, and I think I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew who was out there while the city slept. Covering the big rocks, the treasurer, the chief of staff is still working on the audit and has made great strides, as you had seen tonight, toward its completion. With the police, Officer Singh Ju has graduated from the New Mexico Law Enforcement Academy. At the academy, his leadership skills were recognized with the Director's Award of Leadership as he served as a class leader throughout his training. This fire department conducted regional training last week before they were interrupted by the severe winter storm. Public Works, I already covered that. Engineering, our city engineer has gone over the 100% architectural plans for the film school, and we hope to have the stamp plans shortly. Facilities, the library painting project is finished, and we're now looking at other projects we can sneak in before the weather turns on us again. The clerk attended training in Santa Fe, and she reported back that it was very valuable to her professional development. And economic development is orienting her to the community and helping city staff build social media accounts and familiarize themselves with artificial intelligence platforms. And finally, some closing thoughts. Wilma Rudolph passed away 30 years ago today. For those of you that never heard of her, she was an American sprinter, world record holding Olympic champion, and international sports icon. What was truly amazing about her was that Wilma Rudolph was born prematurely and had several early childhood illnesses, including pneumonia, scarlet fever, and polio. She recovered from polio, but lost the strength in her left leg and foot. Physically disabled for much of her early life, Rudolph wore leg braces until she was 12 years old. One of my favorite quotes from Wilma was, "My doctor told me I would never walk again. My mother told me I would. I believed my mother." My closing thought is, always believe your mother.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from the commission tonight? Commissioner Honeyfield, Commissioner Giacomo, Mayor Pro Tem.
I just want to echo what City Manager Mesta said about our Public Works and other crews that helped. Also, all the city staff. I know that I got a text, and so did Commissioner Schuster, from our Deputy City Manager, Mr. Phillips, and, ready to open the convention center if needed, and wanted to know the plans from when we had it open during the Ute Park fire and what we could do. And so the planning and preparation was just outstanding. And I was very impressed and still am impressed by the ongoing snow removal and what a great response everybody had. Really appreciate them, and that kind of work, that's just a huge amount of dedication.
Commissioner Schuster.
I agree, but also agree with always listen to your mother.
Yeah, and I just would echo the same thing. Also, we were kind of lucky the wind didn't blow like they forecasted because power stayed on the entire time.
Yeah.
So that was, I want to commend RPS for monitoring that as well. So, other than that, nothing further. This meeting stands adjourned.